What's up guys? Welcome to Light Novel Exposure. Here we talk about all type of light novel and anime. Just a quick warning, these videos contain spoilers from the light novel. So now in this video we will review what happened next. Before we will proceed, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's proceed with the video. Today we're going to talk about High School DxD Season 5 Episode 11. To go towards him, the opponent created defense magic circle in front of him, but he couldn't withstand my punch and flew far to the back of the stadium. Dune! He crashed into the wall, and went through it. I stood still while thrusting my hand forward. That person flew back more than I thought. It's not a punch where I used my boosted powers, but it wasn't a punch that I was holding back either. One of the examiners went towards the opponent whom I punched quickly. I can hear the voices of other participants who were watching the match. You must be kidding me. What power! I see. He surpasses the level of average low-class devils greatly. I can only say that his opponent was unlucky. He's a monster. If it's just power, isn't he a high tier of high-class devil? So this is the power of Securiute who defeated the evil god Loki and Cyroarg. I heard things like that. I was troubled by how to respond. I used my power to the fullest because I didn't want to fail, and I thought that I can't let my guard down since my opponent is also a devil who is taking the promotion test. The examiner returns from the broken wall while carrying my opponent who seems to be unconscious. That examiner shakes his head to the examiner who is in charge of my match. That examiner confirms it and says it loudly. Number 4. Hyodo Issei wins. This is the end of the practical? Are you serious? I don't have to do anything more? I could only stand there astonished because of the victory I gained easily. We finished our practical, and made Ravel start a communication magic circle so we can report to Sensei. Sensei, about the practical, what happened? I'm at the restaurant of the hotel in which we made reservations, and drinking alcohol even at noon. Alcohol at noon again? You sure know how to have fun. No, that's not what I mean. It's about the practical test. Well, all of us, me, Kiba and Akeno-san, didn't have any trouble, but more like it was. You were overwhelming, right? I nod to Sensei who is grinning. Yes. Sensei makes a sigh. Of course. You guys have abnormal strength among low-class devils. And the ones going to the test have the powers of high tiers of mid-class devils. You guys have the power of high-class devils. Especially you eyes, who can use Triina and True Queen can release a power that isn't that much different from those with more power than that. Well, I could say the same for Cyroarg though. I didn't know. So we became that strong. Not just me, but Kiba and Akeno-san also gained victory with overwhelming strength for the test. Instead I feel sorry because I went too far and destroyed the stadium. They achieved victory while holding back their power not to destroy the stadium. So this is what he means by not fighting seriously. It will cause harm to the stadium if we go too seriously because of the power difference between us and the other participants. And I might have killed my opponent because of it. If I think like that, then I put too much energy into the match. But my head was full with the things like the feeling of not wanting to fail and that I can't let my guard down. The opponents you guys have been facing are the Valley team, which are full of legendary guys, evil god Loki and Fenrir from Northern Europe, and the ultimate Longinus, you know? Fighting guys like that while returning with everyone alive is something that isn't normal. It's a level where it would be said that you guys are abnormal. At least in the Gremory team you, Kiba, Akeno, Xenovia and Rossweiss are strong guys with the power of high-class devils. Kaneko, who is starting to learn the power of Senjutsu, will also reach the power parallel to a high-class devil soon. I see. We went through lots of crisis so we greatly surpassed average mid-class devils. Yeah, if I think about it, our opponents were abnormal guys. And I have been training hard so I won't lose. I realized it again. We became insanely strong. Even so, the enemies who come after us have powers beyond that, so my head is about to go nuts. She sure has luck meeting with you guys, the woman you fell for, that is. Sensei says it as if he's depressed. Yes. Rias is the best woman there is. Of course. The meeting Rias and I had is something very special. Thanks to that I met with Rias and everyone else. Hey Rias. I said, Rias is the best woman there is. Sensei says it with a lecherous voice to another person. Is Rias nearby? Hey Sensei, why are you telling her? Haha. Rias became so red after hearing you say that. Man, you guys are in a burning relationship. Shit. Tears are flowing out of my eyes. Looks like I will master being single, damn it. Ah, Sensei's voice had a bit of hatred in it. Even so, don't play with me and Rias because it's embarrassing. Please let us taste our life peacefully. Sensei continues after changing back the topic. Well, I also said it to Rias just now. That there is no reason for Rias to go through intense training to get strong. Rias training? If I remember, she was quite upset that she couldn't do much against the fight with Regulus. But it was just that her opponent was a bit too much, since it was a rare Longinus that could move on its own. It was also a demonic creature that represented the king of lions. One of the weapons the woman you fell for has is the fortunate meetings she has. The grade that the Gremory team has isn't something that other high-class devils have. Though it seems that guy, Razor, also said that. This is something in which you can't teach others. You need something like this since you were born. And things like that will continue on as well. In my case, I want to praise the high chance of survival I mentioned before. To survive so many crises with everyone alive is a level that surpasses miracles. A level that surpasses miracles. I think I can understand that. I also think it's great that members like this gathered and survived through these crises together. Anyway, the test is over, right? Use the transport magic circle at the center to get to this hotel. The result isn't out yet, but let's celebrate here. The communication with Sensei ended there and all of us took a breath. Great work, Aiz-kun, Akano-san. Kiba says it to me and Akano-san with a smile. Looks like we can relax until the result is out. No, Akano-san. For me, I can't relax for the exam as well. I made a sigh and Kiba says it to me. Securyute, who wielded his power greatly for the promotion test, looks like he can't use that power for the exam. Akano-san and Ravel chuckled at Kiba's sarcasm. Yeah, I'm just a power idiot like you say, so good job on your test. Cheers. Sensei gulped his drink after saying that. How much has this drunken governor been drinking since noon? The four of us moved to the hotel, where we were given relief from the fatigue of the test at the restaurant we reserved. At the restaurant, everyone in the Occult Research Club except Gasper and Rossweiss-san was gathered. Everyone has already started eating food. So I started filling myself immediately after seeing the gorgeously prepared food. How was it? I was asked by Rias, who is sitting next to me. Yes. Both the tests were worth the time. This is all thanks to everyone who helped me. But for the practical I overdid it. I smashed my opponent with the power of Securyute. And I also made a hole in the test stadium. You don't have to worry about it because we will pay for the damage to the broken wall. But you can't go serious against mid-class devils if you happen to have an argument. Okay, there's quite a difference in power between yours and theirs at this current point in time. I was warned by Rias. Yes, I am reflecting on my actions. I was shocked because I never could have imagined that there was that much of a difference between me and other low-class devils. If you look at strength, I'm a high-class devil, huh? I can't really feel it though. No, I do realize my strength. But I still can't feel that I have a power where I can stand on equal grounds to the noble devils. I beat high-class devils like Razor and Diodora by relying on the flow. So I never thought about how strong I am among devils. I just trained like crazy in order to make sure I wouldn't lose against the enemies who are after me and in order to catch up to Valley. Diedrich then laughed inside me. In your case you are already abnormal by possessing me and your target is also the strongest Hikuryuku of all time. Your target was already too high to begin with. Even so you continue to use your power, so it's only natural that you would surpass other devils without realizing it. By the end of summer, you had already surpassed your master, Rias Gremory. That woman isn't weak either. The growth rate of Securyute was too overwhelming. Even so, my growth rate is slow compared to the past possessors, right? That part alone makes me want to cry. It's certainly slow, but comparing you who is showing a completely different growth process than that of the Securiute who came before you is a bit. Though the key to that growth is tits. Ha, Securiute Dono has made a sigh. Maybe I should stop this discussion here. Then I saw a scene that made me smile. Here Kaneko-san. You should eat this and this. I can eat it myself even if you don't grab it for me. I'm not looking after you because I want to. Aiz-sama will be sad if you are not energetic. I understand. I will eat. Thank you. No, thank you as well. If you don't become energetic, I won't be able to compete against you. I saw a conversation like that happening between Ravel and Kaneko-chan. They are opening up to each other even though they still argue a lot. That is a good thing. Shall look at Diedrich. At the corner of the restaurant, there is Ophis who is staring at me. She was stuffing her mouth with pasta. If the restaurant staff finds out that she is the boss of the terrorists, serious things will happen. Obviously this is kept a secret. It seems like Kuroka and Lefei are also eating sweets in the corner of the restaurant. Fenrir isn't showing itself, but it's probably hiding behind Lefei. What a skillful wolf. Well, it is forbidden to bring pets inside the hotel. Wait. The worst creature to be a pet is. Kuroka is an exiled devil who is on the wanted list in the underworld, so she hides her cat ears and tail while wearing a similar robe to the one worn by Lefei. Though the color is different. She is also wearing sunglasses. She's also changing the key flow, so people who can normally sense them won't notice them and as a result they won't be caught that easily. She's also using it on Lefei and Ophis, and that is one of the reasons why they aren't being viewed as suspicious people. Well, if it's Kuroka and them who haven't been caught up until now, they won't be caught here either. But I think I can understand it now. The reason why they appear in unexpected places is because they have the ability to sneak around like this. If I think back, my comrades didn't realize it at all when they suddenly appeared at my house. So in that area, they are superior to us. When I was thinking about that, the drunken sensei says this to Kiba. Kiba, both of you are extraordinary even among the Gremory group. You say we are extraordinary. Azazel sensei nods at Kiba's words. I'm saying that you guys are young devils who hold outrageous potential. Aiz doesn't have any talent, but he is a man who possesses the Securiute. He raised his power in a different way than all previous Securiuteus and finally managed to awaken a power that is the total opposite to Juggernaut Drive. Even if Kiba gained additional powers afterwards, your talent is very high. And both of you are still in the middle of your growth period. It's an unimaginable talent to awaken two balance breakers. On top of that, both of you train with each other and are growing even stronger. Maybe you guys will become ultimate class devils before Rias even has her professional debut? Becoming an ultimate class devil before having a professional match. I was already shocked from the talk about mid-class promotion, so if that happens I might pass out and make bubbles come out of my mouth and be confused for 10 days. Having your servant be a mid-class devil before your debut is abnormal, so in terms of that we might become a point of praise for Rias. Kiba then says it shyly. I am blessed. Right next to me the heavenly dragon, Aiz-kun, is there. For a training opponent I can't ask for a better partner. And we are still in the middle of growing. Sparring against Aiz-kun alone is an honor. How can he say such embarrassing things so openly? Don't say embarrassing thing with a smiley face. Geez. I'm also gaining a lot from our training because my opponent is a genius technique type like you. Since my weak point is technique types. When I said that, Sensei shook his head. No, you also have another weakness. More like an exposure. The weakness of the powerful Triina and True Queen is stamina itself. Using either of them involves consuming great amounts of stamina and aura. Aiz. Right now, how long can you maintain the True Queen form? The truth is, the power is unstable, so there are times when the form disappears after one hit. Controlling it is very hard. Yes, that True Queen is very hard to control. What is necessary for stabling the True Queen is increasing the specs during the other Triina forms. If I want to increase the power output and defense of my True Queen form, it is necessary for me to continue using Triina Rook until I get used to it. If I want to increase the speed of True Queen, then it's Triina Knight. If it's the canon, then it's Triina Bishop. The basis for improving True Queen is that I need to improve the specs of each of the other forms. That's how it is made. In order to increase the strength of True Queen, I need to train each of the Triina pieces. The awakening of Triina in Kyoto. The awakening of True Queen during the Biel match. Thanks to that, the original power of Heavenly Dragon was released, and it seems like the limit of my sacred gear increased several-fold. What's left now is for me to train and reach even greater heights. Even if the limit of the sacred gear increased, since the possessor, which is me, is really weak, then I have to get there step by step. I have to get used to each of the forms of Triina, and at the same time increase their powers. True Queen is like an overall form. The improved results will all reflect to the True Queen. The reason why it is unstable right now is because I still need a lot of training. I probably have to improve the usual balance breaker form and Triina forms. That's what I realized after the fight with Syra Org-san. It means that I'm still lacking in my training for the abilities of each of the forms. Maybe understanding that will relate to decreasing the huge stamina usage? That's what I thought, but Sensei says something that put that idea away. Even if you were able to stabilize the power, it might not solve the high consumption. It's a new power that doesn't hurt either the body or soul, but either way the consumption is intense. It must consume more stamina and aura because it doesn't eat away at your lifespan or put your body in any danger. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.